Hello, hello, Spirit House here. I have to share a prophetic dream I had last night, just because it was so profound. Um, I've prayed and asked to be revealed the people behind that are invisible to me, the invisible enemies and haters who have plagued me for so long in my life. Now that I'm becoming so aware, like I'm making new discoveries every day and epiphanies every day. It's like really moving fast right now during this energy. So I just wanted to share this because I was praying on behalf of the entire collective who have been affected like this, and especially people on twin flame journeys who have been targeted by this group of people that have been targeting me, my businesses, every aspect of my life for like since I was a child. The elders of this family or this group or these groups, they're interrelated, but especially in the last 3 years, it's gotten really, really intense. And so I've been praying a lot about it lately and praying for, because the spiritual attacks are just crazy. I mean, and I know I'm really sensitive. I know, like, especially, I had two more death spells the other day and constant binding. They're constantly trying to bind me right now, like 24/7. And so I was praying about it and just saying, let the hammers fall where they will, if it's your will, and, protect the collective that's in their north node for our highest good, and things like that. And I've just been praying a lot on it. And last night I had a dream, and my ex husband, I walk into this apartment that belongs to my ex husband, and I've never seen it before, but he was there in the beginning of the dream. So it revealed him. And then there was a maid that looked like it may have been his girlfriend's mother, but I don't know even know if he's still with the same person because I've ghosted, I blocked him. I had to block him. He was narcissistic, and I had a pattern of narcissistic people because I'm an empath, and but I was unawakened at the time I was married with him. But the demonic energies infiltrated our marriage and made me sick and a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into that now, but anyway, he was revealed. Although the children we had weren't in the dream, in the first part of the dream, and then it just disappeared. But it was his place, and then he went away, and then a bag of belongings was revealed to me. Oh, here's a bag of your residual belongings, because when we a side note, when we had divorced, it was so bad that I just wanted out so bad. It was a matter of life or death. And I left all my belongings. I left the house with him, the cars, everything. I just wanted out of it. I just wanted out all my belongings pretty much, except for I did get away with some photos of family photos, photos that were important to me out of the garage and from photo albums and my grandmother's recipes and a few things like that. But that was it. I mean, I had books that I loved. I mean, because I'm a book collector, like, and all kinds of things that I left behind, and it wasn't as important as my well being at that point because I was sick. But at any rate, there was this bag of things in this house, and this maid or whoever it was, or you know, um, said, "Oh, here's your bag of things." And I looked through it, and there was a bunch of tarot decks that I've never previously purchased, but I could see them clearly. And they were like no tarot decks that are out on the market right now that I would recognize, but they were different tarot decks. And in this bag, and there was like $85 to $100 in cash. And I was like, well, that's cool. And then it was really bizarre. And then people started coming in, mostly men, with all these bouquets of flowers. And there were like, they kept coming in with flowers, like roses, like gladiolas, like stargazers. I mean, all kinds of flowers that I love. And there were like 20 bouquets, like covering every inch of table area or any kind of area in this whole place. And then I was like, what's the occasion? What's the big deal? And they were like, well, this is for you. And I was like, what's the occasion? And I'm thinking, oh, well, that's nice. Well, thank you, but I didn't know any of these people. And then a knock on the door, and there was a man that came to the door, and he hugged me like he'd been on a long journey, and he hugged me, but I got this weird feeling when he hugged me, and it was like, ooh, I got this weird intuitive feeling, and they were like, I'm gonna go take a shower, and it was a really short, stout, like portly man with a thick neck who was bald. Okay. And I was like, okay, but I didn't recognize him. I don't know him in the 3D. I don't know him. I've never met him in my life. But I did get a sense of recognizing him as infiltrating my dreams in the 5D over the last couple of years. I recognized him from the spiritual realm, okay? From like intruding on my dreams. So he went to take a shower, okay? And I'm just sitting there on like this couch or bed or something, and I could hear the water running, and then all of a sudden it stopped, and they came out of this door from this bathroom I never went into in the dream, but it was like the man that had hugged me, but there was like a really handsome, tall man with dark hair, which was kind of like it was short-ish, but not like really short, and it had deep waves in it, and he was like almost like he had the hand on the back of this man's neck, and it was escorting him out of the bathroom, right? And I saw like shaving cuts on his head, and I was like, "Oh, can I help you with that?" You know, and then the tall dark man came over to me, and like and also, it looked like he was covered in a priest cloak. It was a black cloak, like a priest cloak, and there was just the head, right? He pulls off the cloak, and it's this person that's been beheaded. They were beheaded, and this tall dark man like presents him to me like almost like a gift, but I didn't think of it as that way. I was like appalled. I was like like petrified at first. I was just like, whoa, okay, this person's not connected to a body. He's been beheaded. And as soon as he pulled off the cloak and presented it in front of me, it looked evil. The head looked really evil, and the person holding the head and presenting it to me almost as if on a platter was saying, I don't mean to shock you or disturb you, but this is for you. This is justice. And I woke up, and I like kind of like laughed, thinking, oh my God, this person's psycho. And I kind of like nervous laugh, okay. And then I woke up, and I realized that this was either an ancestor or Archangel Michael or Uriel in the dream, and this was divine justice, even though I don't know who this person was. It's some form. It was a sign that, and all the flowers, the beautiful flowers in the dream, but it was disturbing. I must tell you that. I was freaked out, but immediately after I woke up, almost, I was looking for the meaning. And also another thing out of this is my ex-husband. The only thing he ever returned to me, and this is like 7 years after we were separated and divorced, and he never returned any of the things I left behind to me. Who knows what happened to him, okay? But he comes one day when my sister's here. She's visiting from Portland, okay? And my sister is a karmic, a huge karmic, hateful, jealous, angry person, okay? Huge, okay? I mean, hateful. Just and to everyone. I mean, just will sit there and look at you and just criticize everything you do she'll ask you to cook the favorite meal that you cook, and then she'll sit over your shoulder and try to, and so I cut her off a couple years ago. I mean, completely. But she was here 3 years ago visiting in my house, and she said, oh, and there was a tarot deck she gave to me when I was like 23 at Christmas. And I loved it. It was beautiful. It was very expensive. and it was hand numbered based off of one of the first tarot decks in Italy that was, and I'll post a picture of it for the cover photo of this. But she was like, "Do you ever use that tarot deck I gave you?" And I said, "No, because, the morning after Christmas or on Christmas Day, I noticed that it was missing the Fool card. And I can't really do a spread that would be, you know, unbiased with the Fool card missing. The Fool card was always missing from the deck. Since the moment she gave it to me, the Fool card was gone. And so she asked me, "Do you ever use that tarot?" And that same day, my ex-husband came to pick up my son, and he brought that tarot deck after 7 years of never bringing me a fucking thing. Excuse my language. But the same day, my sister was visiting and asked me if I ever used that tarot deck that she gave me years before that. And I was like, that day, while she was here visiting from out of town, he brought the tarot deck to me, and that's the only thing he's ever brought back to me. And after waking up from this dream this morning, I'm thinking, that was cursed. That's why he brought it back to me. He had placed something on that tarot deck. It wasn't just out of kindness or niceness or superstition or fear that he brought that back. He placed something on it and returned it to me, because he's never, ever returned anything that belonged to me before, other than that thing. And I realized this morning, okay, so my ex-husband is somehow, it may not be related to these people in Europe, but he did slander my name openly. And the thing is, in front of my kids, to the point where my son, who was 17 at the time when we separated, had to tell him to stop talking about me in front of him because it bothered him and it wasn't right. My own son had to say that. Stop talking bad about mom. It's not true. And I would never do that. I have never talked bad, even though he was horrible and evil and awful to me during those last years of marriage. I have never once talked in front of my two sons about my husband in a negative way. I would never do that. That's against my principle. But he did that a lot. And with people that worked with my kids, because they have developmental disabilities, he slandered my name everywhere. So I believe that he's a part of it. I think there's a separate group, but who knows? He didn't have the resources when we separated to hire people like this. So, but I do think that they contacted him, because they'll contact anybody. But the thing is, this person that claimed to be my friend, that's my doppelganger in Europe, I don't even know this person. They've never even known me. They just claimed to know me. They looked into our birth charts. They knew my destiny and my twin flame's destiny long before we did. And I believe that I have a cousin and a sister that are, very karmic. I have a cousin that's already stolen a lot of the family's inheritance from a legacy my grandfather left behind, which is, it's whatever. It's whatever. I never was the type of person that, especially since I was very close to my grandfather and loved my grandparents, I spent a lot of time with them, and it grossed me out how much my family talked. Not my mother on so much on our side, but my cousin and my aunt and uncle talked about what they would do with the money when they died and stuff like that, which really disturbed me at a young age. And I overheard these conversations, and I was like, it disgusted me. And so I, decided, because my mom was an entrepreneur and my grandfather obviously built a legacy. So I was always just of my own, I'm going to make my own money. I don't even want any of this, because I know there's going to be a huge, greedy, ugly fight between these losers in my family when he passes away, or when this happens or that happens. And I don't even want to count on that because I was just disgusted and turned off by it. But yeah, it's like, so that tarot deck, that the tarot thing led me immediately to think about the tarot deck because he was in the beginning of the dream. And, so that was really interesting. So I went and burned and threw away the ashes of that tarot deck this morning. But yeah, so yeah, Anyway, that's some kind of form of divine justice in that dream, because that was like either an ancestor I have not met yet, a passed on ancestor, or it was Uriel or Michael. And I was really kind of flipped out seeing this beheaded head, but it was like an offering as divine justice because of all the injustice that's been done to me throughout my life, and all the flowers were there as well. So, and I don't even know who this person was. So, that was beheaded. But anyway, that's definitely an omen for whoever you are. Okay, bye.